Al-Mansoobaat. Mansoobaat are words that are in the accusative case, meaning they are marked by fatha or the substitutes. So just like marfu'at is the words that end with dhamma. What we need to know about Mansoobaat is that these are words that ends with fatha or its substitutes. When it comes to singular, then it's fatha, and when it comes to dual and plural, the alama, the sign, the mark, it changes. And in English, you call them accusative case. Now, Mansoobaat, there are many of them, and in this, we're only seeing 6 to 7 of them. First, what we're going to see is the al-mafa'il al-khamsa, which is the 5 objects. And they are al-maf'ul bihi, which is the object of a verb, al-maf'ul al-mutlaq, the absolute object, al-maf'ul lahu, or al-maf'ul li ajlihi, which is the object of reason, al-maf'ul ma'ahu, the accompanying object, al-maf'ul fihi, object of time and place, or dharfu zaman or makan. First, let's see what is al-maf'ul bihi, and that is the object of a verb. As we see an example here, mithal, ضرب المعلم الطالب. The teacher hit the student. This is a verbal sentence, is a jumla fi'liya, beginning with daraba. Daraba means to hit. It's a fi'l. As we see, al-fi'l is daraba. Now, a fi'l must have a fa'il, so al-mu'allim is the fa'il. Al-fa'il is mu'allim, the teacher. Now, who did the teacher hit? On whom was the action done? And that is the maf'ul bihi, or the object of the verb. And that is at-talib. As you can see, at-talib has a fatha. That shows that it is mansoob. While the mu'allim has a dhamma, that shows that it is marfu'. So mu'allim is fa'il, and that is from the marfu'at. Talib is maf'ul bihi, and it's from the mansoobat. Number 2 is al-maf'ul al-mutlaq. In English we call it the absolute object. Now what is al-maf'ul al-mutlaq? It is a noun that is derived from the same root as the verb to show emphasis, number, or type of the action. So this is a noun to begin with. Maf'ul mutlaq is a noun. Now this noun, where is it derived from? The same root as the verb. A verb will have root letters. So the maf'ul mutlaq will have the same root letters as the verb in that verbal sentence. Now this maf'ul mutlaq is written for either to show emphasis of the specific verb, or to show the number or the type of the action. So let's see examples. Now, example for emphasis. When we say, for example, ضرب المعلم ضربا. Now we can translate this as the teacher hit hard. Now there's no specific word for hard here, but how do we understand that this sentence means hard? Because of the repetition of the word darban. Like darban is the same as the word daraba, like it has the same root letters. But this is a verb and this is a noun. This noun is what we call maf'ul mutlaq, the absolute object. Now this is brought here to show emphasis. If I just say daraba al-mu'allimu, it means the teacher hit. Now the listener will not know how did the teacher hit. Was it hard? Was it soft? What was the nature of the hit? So when you say darban like that, it shows emphasis and it shows that the hitting was hard. So here al-fi'l, verb is daraba, al-mu'allimu is the fa'il, fa'il is the mu'allimu, and darban is the al-maf'ul mutlaq. Now another example for number. Maf'ul mutlaq can also be used to show the number of the action. In the same example, if we say daraba al-mu'allimu darbayn, daraba al-mu'allimu darbayn, the teacher hit twice. Darbayn is like 2 hits. So now that shows the number of times the teacher hit. So here al-fi'l is daraba, al-mu'allim is the fa'il, and the maf'ul mutlaq is darbayn. Now example for the type of the action. For example, mithal here, baka ar-rajulu buka at-tifli. Baka ar-rajulu buka at-tifli. This means the man cried like the crying of a baby. Or in simple words, you would say like the man cried like a baby. But I repeated the crying over here to show the word buka. Now, baka means to cry, it's a verb. Now the verb, the noun from this baka is buka, which is crying. At-tifl is baby. Baka ar-rajulu, the man cried. Now that's a sentence. Now if I say the man cried it does not show what kind of crime it was or what type of action it was. When I say buka at-tifli, then we can imagine the man cried like a baby. So al-fi'l here is baka, al-fa'il is al-rajul, and buka'a is the maf'ul mutlaq. Moving to the next one, al-maf'ul lahu or al-maf'ul li ajlihi. And that means the object of reason. And that shows it is a noun that signifies the reason of the doer's action. Like, why was that action done? Will be explained with this maf'ul lahu or maf'ul li ajlihi. For example, this is a very common example. وَقَفَ الطُّلَّابُ احْتِرَامًا لِلْمُعَلِّمِ. The students stood in respect to the teacher. When I say waqafa, that means to stand. At-tullab, students. The students stood. Why did they stand? احتراما, as respect. للمعلم, to the teacher. Now here al-fi'l is waqafa, at-tullab is the fa'il, and احتراما is the maf'ul li ajlihi. Then fourth one, al-maf'ul ma'ahu, which is the accompanying object. It is a noun which comes after waw al-ma'awiyya. There's something called as waw al-ma'awiyya, which is the waw of coming togetherness. And this waw gives the meaning of along or besides. So like the meaning of this waw is to be along or besides, and it signifies accompanying. So we can see the example, ذهبت إلى المدرسة وحامدا. I went to school along with Hamid. Now when I say I went to school, that's a sentence, and now when I add وحامدا there, it shows accompanying of Hamid with me when I go to school. So I went to school along with Hamid. Now another very common example is, for example, سافرت والليلة. Safartu wal layla, yani I traveled and along with the night. Or wal qamara, along with the moon. What does that mean? That means the person traveled at night while the moon was present, while it was night, and the likes. So here fi'l is dhahaba, yani dhahab here, and the fa'il is the tu. The tu is the subject of the verb, and wa hamidan, this hamidan is a maf'ul ma'ahu. Then the fifth one, the last mafa'il, is al maf'ulu fihi. This is basically dharf. Dharf means adverb. This is the object of time and place. So it is a noun that is mentioned to clarify the time or place when the action took place. So an action is taken place if a noun shows the time that it took place, like before, after, morning, evening. All of these can be considered time. Month, year, and the likes. And place, like to the right, to the left, opposite, in front of, this is the place. So we have an example here, like, so we have, it's of two types, as we said, dharfu zaman, adverb of time, the first one, and the other one is dharfu makan. Now this shows the time in which an action took place, as for example, safartu sabahan, I traveled in the morning. So when I say I traveled, it's a verb and the doer. When did the action take place? Sabahan, in the morning. Fi'al is safara, tu is the fa'il, and the maf'ul fihi, the dharfu zaman is sabahan, in the morning. Another one is dharfu makan, adverb of place. It shows the place in which an action took place. Mithal, جلس القط فوق الطاولة, for example. The cat sat on top of the table. Cat sitting is the verb and the subject or the doer. Now where did the action take place? فوق الطاولة, on top of the table. So الفعل is the جلس, فاعل is القط, and مفعول فيه ظرف مكان is فوق. Then we also have these two, which we have learned before, خبر Kaana and its sisters. So Kaana has ism and khabar. Likewise, Inna also has ism and khabar. The khabar of Kaana is mansoob. As for the ism of Kaana, it comes under marfu'. So for example, Kaana al-jawu jamilan, the weather was beautiful. Kaana is the verb over here, and al-jawu is the ism of Kaana, and jamilan is the khabar of Kaana. So here the khabar Kaana is what? Jamilan, beautiful. Another one, for example of ismu inna and sisters, the same sentence, when you add inna, al-jawu becomes al-jawwa. Jamilan is jamilun. Inna al-jawwa jamilun. Complete opposite of Kaana. Here ismu inna is mansoob. As you can see, fatha is there. That's why ismu inna here is al-jawwa.